Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. I don't know if anyone's going to be there right now. It's been a bit slow on the algorithm or whatever it is that creates the flow of YouTube. But I'm assuming it was that. But I've not been on here in a couple of days. But I'm here again. Until I put on my own content, my own videos that I did make a couple of. I only like making things that feel right with me. I don't just make content. I don't even want to call it content. I don't want to make anything. I'll just say that, make something, if it doesn't feel right. So I make things that feel right with where my heart is going, with what I'm, because I'm not trying to keep up with any trends or anything like that. I make things that are true to me. So I live stream on here sometimes, just hoping to catch people, whoever they are, to talk about the topic, to talk about the subject matter here, which is what the channel is based on. So this channel is about film, my love of cinema, and my journey into filmmaking. So it's not just that to document that. It's a platform to speak to people that are also interested in that as well. So it's a place for me to connect with people. So I don't know whoever might be watching this, like, later on down the line or whatever, but it is what it is at the moment, and hopefully we can meet some new people. Anything about the filmmaking process, that's what this channel is based on, that's what it's for. If it's silent for a while, I apologize. I do apologize. Yeah, anything to do with the filmmaking process, whatever that is, directors, producing, so directing, producing, screenwriting, actors, actresses, casting agents, stunt men, I don't know, visual effects artists, practical effects artists, anyone to do with the camera and crew departments, cinematographers, lighting technicians, sound technicians, even things like location scouting, to find locations to film. Anyone who does these things or has an interest in them, as I say, who's got an interest in the filmmaking process, whether it's some of those things there that I said, or one of those things, or all of them, or whatever, this is the channel to speak to, because I'm here to connect with you guys and girls. And I don't care what country you're from, it doesn't matter to me. Anyone who's got an interest in the filmmaking process, anyone who's got an interest in film, like as in physical film and digital, but physical film is, for me, is the ultimate. It's better for me. IMAX film. Anyone who's got any sort of interest in this, yeah, anyone who's a screenplay writer, I'm happy to talk. So it's only noon afternoon here in London where I live. Well, 1 o'clock actually. Maybe I should change the title of these live streams, but then I don't know if you see that title, do you? If anyone who scrolls through live stream feed, you just swipe, don't you? I don't know if you see a title. I'm not sure. You just see the image. You just see the video, don't you? The camera. What's on? Yeah. Because if you can see the title, I mean, maybe it might be beneficial to me to type in any filmmakers out there. Any filmmakers out there. I could put that. Because I've just put at the moment, I've just written Samuel Murphy, which is my name, a middle name. Well, soon to be my middle name, and because I come from the Murphy background, the Murphy clan, the Celtic, the Irish clan. It's in my nan's side of the family. It is there. It's just I've not legally put it in yet, but which won't take long. So that's what my channel's name is Samuel Murphy. And why am I mentioning that? I can't remember why. Oh yeah, because in the title right now of the live stream, it just says Samuel Murphy, and then I put dash, let's talk film. Let's talk film, and I've put hashtag film, hashtag filmmaking, and hashtag 2026. I don't know. I mean, this live stream, I mean, I've just seen a couple of people jump in, but they've not saying anything. I got one like. If anyone's got a question, I mean, please ask. If it's something to do with the filmmaking process, I want to talk to you. I genuinely want to meet people that are interested in film, not just for the money, not for the money, for the love of film. Money is obviously beneficial. I mean, it's part of the industry, it's part of the business. You don't do these things for free. What the right mindset should be is that you're making something which will stand the test of time, and any financial repercussion that is in the more the more financial what's the word, like compensation or reward you should get, it should be in exact ratio to what you've made. So the better, what you want to say better, but the more well received, well made, or I want to say well made, but it will speak for itself financially. If that's what I'm trying to say. So the better, I won't say better, but the more you put into it, the more likely than not, the more you'll receive. And through whatever that is, whatever that whatever that is. I don't know what most likely financial money. I don't want to say livestock and gold teeth. I don't want to say that. I'll just say money. um, I'll have 10,000 cows, so I can start up my own farm somewhere. No. Yeah, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm not. I swear. I'm not even thinking about the money. I'm not. I swear. I'm not. That don't matter. When I say don't matter, I mean obviously it does matter, but I'm not. That's not why I'm doing this. You know what I mean? That's not the reason. So, any financial whatever I go on to create, I'll be happy with whatever it. I don't know what to say. Whatever it will be is whatever it will be. That's my answer. I'm not. It's not about all. It's not. I think if people go into this thinking about that, they're doomed. They're doomed from inception. They really are, from the inception of it. There has to be a balance of creativity and commerce. Because obviously, when you go into the industry further into it, you might be working for a studio. You might be, they've got to make a return on their investment. I understand. Like obviously, like you need to like money will get spoken about. The producer or who's producing the movie, film. Yeah. I understand that. I'm not. I'm not. But that's not. I'm just saying, if anyone who's out there who's a filmmaker who loves film, right, is just going into this. Well, anyone out there who's listening to this, you might think that you love film, but you love the concept of money a lot more. Money. If you're going into this industry or this sort of world, just with that in your mind, thinking I'm gonna make loads of money. If you're doing it just with that in mind, don't be surprised if you don't last too long in the industry. Don't be surprised if you don't get eaten up by the great white shark. So yeah, so I wouldn't be doing it with that. I would not. You don't. True. Anyway, let's get away from that topic. But I want to like to turn that into. Well, it wasn't negative. It's just me being. I'm just speaking my truth. Me. Me. My last sort of feelings on that is go into this with the love of it, with the love of whatever you want to create. You're doing it to create what the idea is. It's all about the idea. That it's the script, the idea. If you love cinema like and love film, like if you're doing this for the experience, to have that cinema experience, to give that to others, like to create that communal magic that happens when you're watching something together with an audience, or what that, and that just for the but just to get it down to like the basics, like you could just say you're doing it to create something that you feel very connected to. If you're going into the industry when that is not there within you, then I don't think that it's not. I mean, I don't think it's going to work out for you. I mean, yeah, you can just get a job on the sideline of it and be in it and be like a part of the crew, and you might not really care much about it, but you're just there to show up and do your part. I mean, well, that's fine, but obviously, still in mind, you should still think, right, I'm contributing to this effort. It is a team effort. I think really the people that I was speaking to the most just there, like highlighting out the most when I was talking about this initially, was if you're a filmmaker, if you want to be a filmmaker, not just someone who works on a set, but even still, you still got to like go into it with the love of, with the feeling of, let's all work as a team. Like that is obviously you got to have that in your awareness, because if you don't, like it's not going to work out good for you. Um, um, I'm talking directly to people here that want to be a filmmaker, someone who wants to be a director, to direct the team, to guide a team of, or like a team of people that is working towards creating the vision that you have in your mind, or shared vision rather, you're not controlling people or yelling at people. Your director is a person who's guiding all the components. They're guiding. I mean, someone once said you're holding a director holds all the options in his head. The Russo brothers said that. The guys who did the Avengers films, Infinity War, and that the directors of that film and Endgame. I mean, I think they're obviously they're good filmmakers in that. I mean, they're not. I mean, good luck to them, But I mean, but do I agree with that fully? I mean, well, yes, to a point. I mean, yes, you hold all the options in your mind. That's true. Yes, I see I agree. I'm not. I didn't disagree. I'm just saying that don't see that as well that you're a control freak. You're holding all the options in your mind. You're being responsible for having all these people in your awareness, like, the cinematographer, the producers on the set, the lighting crew. You all have to talk with each other, but ultimately the final word goes back to the director, um, who is the director. He is the shepherd who's shepherding his flock, or his sheep, whatever you want to call it. Um, but yes, it's true what the Russos said. Um, you hold all the options in your mind, but but passionately. You don't see it as a sense of power, which is like with this sort of mindset, which is I have everyone at my disposal. You're all mine. Like Doctor Evil from like Austin Powers. Or some sort of James Bond villain. Like the bald guy who strokes the cat. That's not what a director is. A director, at the end of the day, genuine directors, they're just big kids. We're big kids, and including me, and we just want to create. We're creating something with a bunch of adults. You're a big kid. You're a big child who feels very passionate about telling a story. They're storytellers, and they we are doing that with a group of adults. That is it. That is, but you're professional, and that's not. I'm not saying that you act like a kid. Where where you're spitting bubble gum at each other, and that's not what I meant. You have the energy of a child. You have that. You're a man. You're an adult or female. You're a woman or grown man, and you have the energy of a child, which is the enthusiasm of a childlike mind, like where you want to create without any where you don't feel any fear. Like, a child, like most kids, they love climbing in trees. They like building their own little tree houses, and they have their own little dens where they make, where their friends come. I did it when I was a child. You know what I mean? But it's just sadly, as people get older, they get sort of like they take on a lot of energy around them from the world, and it sort of hardens them, makes them more. It just hardens them, and it sort of suppresses their creativity or their childlike sort of creative flow. Filmmakers that go into this that don't have that hardened uh, thing applied to them, what I just said, they're more soft. We're more softened towards telling a story, from making something, from creating something. Well, I think ultimately, if you don't want to use the word softened, it's just that you're in love with an idea, and you don't listen to anyone. You don't take anyone's. If you're in love with something, why would you listen to someone who's being negative? Like if you're so in love with some idea, it doesn't have to be a filmmaker. It could be anything. It could be any sort of service or craft or profession or whatever it is that you want to do. If you're in love with it, you're in love with it. You're going to go and do it. You're not going to listen to anyone. That's the power of something you feel in harmony with, connected to. So, yeah, it's just like so in the case of a filmmaker, in that situation, they're storytellers. That's what films are. They're stories. They're stories, right? And the great ones are the stories that really touch on the human, what it means to make us. We all have to relate to something in the story. We need to feel invested. So really, the best stories are the ones that have the most uh, um, engagement or interaction with the concept of like the human condition, the human condition. Like any aspect of it. Like love and fear. They're always at the main two, aren't they? Like love, fear. Which are one and the same, really. You know, all films are. There's some. The true stories are not just visual things or superficial things. They are the true stories that get made are the ones that have got meaning. That make you not just think, but it makes you reflect on your own experience. As I said, like the human condition. So, so that's that really. I mean, I'm glad that I've spoke about this. I am. I really am. So just to remind people why I'm here and what this channel is about. This channel is about filmmaking, film, cinema, and my journey into filmmaking. And it's also a place for me to connect with other filmmakers or people that are interested in film, any part of the filmmaking process, whatever that is. I don't know who's joining these live streams. I don't know who you are. I don't know whether you're an actor or an actress or a screenwriter or a producer, maybe possibly a director. Um, or any of the or all the above. I don't know who you are, who's watching me, but whoever you are, if you're watching this, that's what this platform is for. It's for me to connect with other people, to speak to people that are genuinely interested in film. So my hope was, and that's what this channel is here, is to speak to people like like the ones I've just described. Anyone who's got an interest in the filmmaking process. It's not so much about this hearing people's love of their films that they like. That's fine. That's great. I'm not against someone putting a comment in saying, "Oh, my favorite movie is this or that." But that's great. But mainly, this channel is about 99% of it. What it is going to be is about connecting with other artists, filmmakers, or anyone who, as I say, has an interest in the process. You might be a lighting technician, you might be a sound technician. Anyone here who's got any interest in the filmmaking process, you might be a cinematographer, you might have an interest in cameras and lenses, different lenses, um, casting agents, a writer, as I said, is there any writers out there who wanna? Don't worry, I'm not gonna steal your ideas. I promise that. That's not who I am. I want to speak to people that are interested in the truest sense of the word, who have got feeling to film, connection. Um, I want to create a platform to connect with other people and share my journey as well. Oh, there's a person who's put a comment in. Wow, 24 minutes into the live stream, and I have my first comment. Someone's put here. I can't pronounce this name. Mir Miraya. Is that how you say it? Tatsung. I can't pronounce it properly, but the person's put, in terms of filmmaking, what is your speciality? Well, I've already done well, I want to be a director. There is obviously it will happen eventually that I will be producing some of my own films with other people. When the time comes, I will work with other people, producing, writing. I'll definitely do them things too, if that's going to happen. But mainly the main position, the main job I want or the role, is to direct. I want to direct. Have I done that yet? I mean, not professionally, but I've made my own couple of little YouTube videos that I've put on YouTube. But that's just me sitting in front of the camera talking about something. It's not a full reflection of me being a director. But if you're asking would what is my speciality in terms of like what do I want to do? I want to be a director. No question. It's to direct, to work with the actors, to speak with them, and everything. Anyone out there who might be a storyboard drawer who draws storyboards, you know, anyone here who's got any interest in the filmmaking process, this is the channel. Let's talk to each other. You know, let's have a chat. I've actually been watching for ages. I'm just a random guy from Japan. I thought you were Japanese because of the name, but I didn't want to say in case I was wrong. But Japanese, yes. Um, who stumbled across your life? Yes, yes. But don't be shy. You know, sometimes I come off of being a little bit grumpy or being a little bit, you know, anything to do with filmmaking. I'm happy to talk about honestly. So wherever you are from, Asia, America, Europe, Scandinavia, Africa, you know, Middle East. I don't really care where you're from. You know, you could be from you could be from the North Pole. You know, anyone who's got an interest in filmmaking. I mean, let's talk about it. Yeah, I want to connect with people that are interested in any part of the process because I do want to make connections on here and to talk to you. But obviously, but hopefully, it would be nice to make some connections. Hello there. And any silly comments, just realize that I will block you. So people need to grow up, man. They really need to grow up. You know, if people take the time out of their life to send silly comments through on a live stream, it shows that they're not they need to go through much more of the evolutionary process. You know, they're way they need to catch up. You know, they need to get going on that. You know, but whatever. You know, I'm based in the United Kingdom. Yeah, I am. I live in the UK. I don't want to give my location away, obviously, because it's private. But I live near London. Yeah, I live near London. London. Yeah, my day's going okay. It's not so bad. It was a bit slow on this live stream, but 24 minutes into the live stream, someone put a comment in. You know, so you never give up, man. Don't give up. Don't give up. And I knew this time of the day, who am I expecting to be on here? I didn't think I'd be catching any of my American friends, really. Well, maybe, because if they're on the East Coast, they're 5 hours behind, which would make it, well, I'm half one here. So what would they be there? Half eight? No, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. Half eight or whatever, half nine, half eight. I can't think, maybe, but it's a bit early for them, isn't it? But I was assuming that other people from around the world would tune in at this time because it's a brand new channel. Well, when I say brand new, this channel is like a year old, but I didn't put any content on there really up until recently when I started to live stream, and um, and now I've started putting videos on or live streaming because I got to 50 subscribers with some help from my other channel that I have. Um, uh, and I've put my own videos on a couple. now the algorithm or whatever it is, is going a bit slow, so it takes time to build, because the more people that watch you, or the more content, also obviously content, the more videos you upload, the more this, the more that, the more stuff you do, the more you get promoted through the feed, like through the YouTube. But that's fine. But I learned a lesson that the best way to meet people is to live stream. It's the live stream. It really is. Oh, you come to the UK next month. You speak good English. Just thought I'd say that. There's quite a few Japanese people that I've spoke to before, or when I say spoke to, they tried to speak to me on a live stream, and they didn't know how to speak English properly. Because I don't think it's like a main language out there, is it, to be taught? It's not really mandatory, or is it? From my understanding, it's not. But a lot of Indian people speak to me on my channel, India, like a lot of Indian people, because English they teach English out there to. I'd like to think like in the majority of India, English is like a second like language to them. It's like it's taught to them the same time as their primary language. Because where England used to be like the British Empire that used to rule India, a lot of English stuff is like still there today, like the English sort of mindset, and the right to a point, it's still there. Anyway, oh, you was born in Hull. I moved to Japan when I was 3 months old. I'm British and a New Zealander. All right, so you're not actually Japanese. All right, I see. Oh, I see. All right, cool. But anyway, like if you are Japanese, like I'm not, I don't care where you're from. Like I'm happy to speak to you. If you have an interest in filmmaking, let's talk. I'm happy to talk. My back's getting a bit stiff here. Yeah. I mean, what I was saying earlier about filmmakers, about um, you know, certain filmmakers, like I said, that I said we're like big children that want to tell stories. Well, it's through the medium of physical film, because physical film used to be like mainly used for photography. Well, that's what it was originally for. It was for photographing. And then when the moving picture came in, like a movie, that's what a moving film that's being fed through a projector. Then that's when everything started to change. So, uh, but yeah, even if you was into photography, and you've got into filmmaking, it doesn't really matter. It's like you're trying to tell a story through the medium of film, a visual story with sound, and it's a story. It's storytelling. People shouldn't lose sight of that. That is what it is. I pray it all goes well for you. I hope to see your name on a poster at my local cinema one day. Yeah, that would be That would be well earned. Um, yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that would be pretty awesome. Cinema is the most amazing thing I've ever experienced. Like, in the physical world, like any sort of, like, you know how you've got attractions or theme parks or gambling, like, you know, in like like casinos, or or I don't know, I don't know, like all the things that we have in this world, like, um uh I think the most amazing, like, sports, and all the things that people engage in to do things. I think the most amazing thing that I've ever experienced is cinema. To me, uh, it is. There's just something about. There's just something about. I can't say, but it's. I don't know what to say, but how to word this. But it's just that I feel that way about it. It's just like, yeah. It's just something else. It really is. And a beautiful feeling. It really is. When you've sat in a theater, like the audience of a cinema, and you've just had this amazing experience, like, which that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Where you're thinking about it and feeling it after you leave. Weeks and months down the line, I'm still thinking and feeling about one movie or one film, my favorite film. I can't get it out of my mind. I keep thinking about it, and it was over a year ago. No, uh, no, it wasn't last December. It was December before that. 2024 December. I just can't. It's changed me. It's changed. Yeah, it changed everything for me. I always loved cinema anyway. I always did, and film. But this is just, it really just pushed me over the edge. It was when I went to see Interstellar at IMAX on film, not digital. This was being projected on physical film, and it's the most amazing. I call it the ultimate experience. Honestly, it's breath. I don't know what words to use to really say what I feel about it. It's the ultimate experience. I'll just say that. And within that, within those words, I am saying it's extraordinary, it's beautiful, powerful, um, emotional, like everything. It's just the best. So, because I'm lucky to go to my local IMAX where I live and see Christopher Nolan's films played on film, because he's the godfather of IMAX. Let's just say that he is, and he has his films on film. Obviously, there are theaters around the world where they play his films in digital. They do, like a standard cinema, like a AMC theater, or if you're in the UK, a Vue cinema, VUE. It's a brand. It's a name of a chain. It's a chain of theaters, or Odeon, or wherever you're going, where it's being digitally projected. Then you'll see his films projected digitally there. But when you actually get to see it in its original format on film, for people, because he's only a part of a few directors who shoot on film. physical film, like IMAX film, that is anyway, and where you can actually see it projected on that at selected theaters that have got the actual projector in the projection room. Where I go in London, it's like the home base for Christopher Nolan. He always goes there when he's here. He always goes there. He does his premieres there. He's friends with the manager there. His signature is like on posters in the building, and I've seen him. You know, he goes basically that is his IMAX where he will go to. It's a true IMAX. It's not one of these IMAX screens that is built into like a huge cinema building with like 10 other screens, and you've got 10 ordinary screens, and then the other one is an IMAX one. That's not and it's probably it's digital anyway. It's not. I mean, it's still great. It's still amazing IMAX, but it's not. It's not like what I'm talking about, right? So but it's still fantastic, digital, right? It is, but that's not a true IMAX setup. The true IMAX setup is where I've been. And if you check out my video on this channel on the video I made called The Odyssey and IMAX, there's a video in my video section. It's all in there. I've explained it, where I go, what building, where I go in London, and everything. You know, so it's there. Um, it's just everything about it. The sound, the visual, the feeling in the air, the vibration coming up, the size of the screen, the energy that comes through it all. It's all happening at once, and the story itself is seeing a story, you know, through being harnessed through the technology of IMAX and on IMAX film. All this stuff's happening at once, right? And I've never been like this in my life before, where I've been absolutely gobsmacked, and I don't know, do you know what I mean when I say gobsmacked? Like, you're so, it's not even, this ain't even the right word to say. Like, to say the word impressed, that is an understatement. But let's just use that word. You're so impressed, you have got no words to say. Like, you know, you're silent. I mean, or you struggle to explain how you feel about it. You know, that's when you know you've had the experience. The one I'm speaking about. You've had that magical experience. So yeah, IMAX is for me, it's the future of cinema. I still believe in the other ordinary cinemas that we have. I mean, I do. IMAX is not going anywhere though, because it's a great technology. It's different technology to ordinary film. It is different. It's not. People might say, well, it's a more higher form of it. Well, whatever, but it's not the same. That's the point. It's different. Because if it was the same, then I'd say it's the same, you know, and then people would see it as the same thing. It's not the same thing. The cameras that IMAX used as a company, they're different cameras. I mean, they originally used these cameras like in nature documentaries, or taking it to Mount Everest, or taking it up to like the International Space Station, or something like that. You know what I mean? It was used to like document things on the highest sort of form, like the highest medium possible, like, or the best. How would you word this? Like the best. Yeah, the best medium, like the best form, the best material, like, if that makes sense. You know, they didn't take up ordinary cameras to these places. That the IMAX is a superior form. That the frames are huge, so you can fit, and they're enriched. But the way they're processed, that the way they're developed, that the whole thing is just The original IMAX cameras that are still being used, they are like, they don't look like ordinary cameras. They look like it looks like something which it looks like something which would be attached to a tank. It looks like some sort of weapon, you know. What it is, it could be, it's a weapon of to create the best film, you know. It is a weapon, you know. It does. It looks like a bazoo. It looks like some sort of rocket launcher. Like when I say that, it looks like some sort. As I say, it looks like something military that you'd put on a, you know, on a tank, or some sort of a some sort of tripod, you know, some sort of military tripod, you know. They're huge cameras. They're huge because the film, which has to pass through the lens, through the, you know, over the lens, you know, and through the mechanism, through the camera, you know. It's just where it's all big. It's basically large. It's huge because I'm butchering this. I'm sorry, but basically it's the highest form that we know about in the world in terms of film cameras that we have. You know, because it's just superior. Ordinary 35 mm films about that big. I've got some over there, and still quite a deep, to pass that through a camera, and for it to be then fed into on another, a collecting spool. So you got the spool where you got the two spools. You got one that's empty and one which has got a brand new roll of film on it, like a reel. That gets put in the camera, and then when you turn it on and you're filming, it gets sent through all the little mechanisms in the camera, and then it gets sent into new this empty spool for it to be collected on. So as this one is emptying itself and being fed through, this one's collecting it, right? And ordinary cameras were big anyway. They're quite large, you know. They're quite big, you know. They're quite you know. I mean, obviously, like they'd probably be mounted on a tripod or whatever. But IMAX cameras, where the film is even bigger, so where like 35 mm like that, IMAX is like that, and it's like that as well. They're massive frames. They're massive. So imagine if you're filming like a lot of footage, and you know, so because it's all big, the internal components of the camera have got to be bigger. So the outside of the camera's got to be bigger. It's basically, it bulked up. The whole thing bulked up because of the technology within the camera and the film itself. So I've got some IMAX film cells in my room, but I'm not going to get them out just now. But they're huge. They are huge, and I've actually got some film cells from Interstellar, like a genuine IMAX print that was decommissioned for whatever reason, and then they've chopped all the frames up into individual cells to sell them on, you know, to sell them. Which I don't really condone that, but because it's not, but I would prefer for the film to stay intact, you know, as a to be shown, you know, not to be sent off to private people, like, you know, and sold on, you know. I know I bought some, but that was before I knew about this. But it doesn't make you a bad person. It's just because I'm going to look after them anyway. You know what I mean? I'm going to look after these frames anyway. You know, so it's not like it's not a total negative. You know, because some people see it as negative. They see it as it's cold-hearted. You know, to cut up a film and sell it on. You know, because people want to make money. You know, but whatever. I wouldn't do that, but I'd keep it intact. You know, something. But for whatever reason, it was decommissioned. A copy of Interstellar on IMAX, and it fell into the hands of some person who worked at this IMAX theater or wherever, and they let him have it, or someone let him have some of it, or whatever, and then he's just chopped up all the frames and then sold them online, you know, to individual, you know, to private collectors, you know. So I found some on eBay, and I bought a few, and I've got them behind me, and it's from a genuine copy of Interstellar from 10 years ago, you know, from its original release. Um, so So obviously I'm going to look after them. You know, I mean, anyone can go online now and type that in. Type in IMAX film cells, and you'll get all the results up from whoever's selling certain frames. You know, cells. They're called cells. You know, um, or frames, whatever. Why did I mention that? Oh yeah, because I was talking about the size of the cameras and all this stuff. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's just the best. It's just but to see all this being projected and to see a film on IMAX, it's there's nothing like it. There's nothing else like it. I mean, and because of that, I just can't see myself going to. I will go to an ordinary theater again, but once you've felt what I've had, this feeling of, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way. I hope you have felt it. That's why I want to talk to people on this channel. That's why I want to. That's why I want to speak to you. But if you, I'm just saying that once you have felt this power or magic of what IMAX can do, you're going to find that you may find that you don't want to you don't want to go to an ordinary theater now. I felt that. I felt like I don't want to. I know it sounds really weird, but I've just felt like I don't want to. I just don't have it. I don't know. I want to go. I do want to go to theaters, but I don't. But there's a part of me where it's experienced this magic and felt that pure the magicness that's that IMAX can deliver. But you'd have to be watching a genuine IMAX film now. In all fairness, from a director who is conscious of what he's doing. You know, like a true filmmaker. Um, there's nothing can beat that feeling of being in the IMAX audience. You know, the theater, the auditorium as they call it. You know, like, you can't beat that. I know you can't beat this. So it's just sort of made me feel like I don't know, like it's not so much that I don't like ordinary theaters anymore. It's just more that I appreciate this more than anything, you know. But I will go to an ordinary theater again. I will. I mean, I can do and I will do. You know, I will. Even the old theaters in London, like the Prince Charles Cinema. Prince Charles Cinema. It's near. It's on Leicester Square. It's next to just right on Chinatown as well. You can go and see all old films there. Sorry, you can go and see loads of old movies and films there that they play on original film or digital, but they play things mainly on film. Um, classic films, and you know, yeah. So I'll go to that. You know, I'll always go and see things on film, whether it's in an ordinary theater or an IMAX. You know, but yeah, you just can't. I just can't get it out of my mind. You know, my heart. You know, you can't beat IMAX. You cannot. You can't. To me, it's like you can't. It's just because of that feeling that I've had from it and what I've recognized about it. It just makes you more. You just sort of move over to that more, and like you know, you just sort of see that as like the first place to go. You know, if that makes sense. You know, but it's really you go there, in my opinion, to see like an event film, something which is a big event, like the Odyssey, which is coming out in July this year. That's an event, and he filmed it on IMAX cameras. He always uses IMAX. Christopher Nolan, Sir Christopher Nolan. And why would I go to an ordinary cinema? Because it's like it's a bit of a downgrade. When I say downgrade, it's just if he would have shot it on ordinary film cameras, which he did do in the first part of his career, then yeah, go and see it at an ordinary cinema because it's the same technology. Well, I wouldn't go and see a film that he's shot on IMAX cameras and go and see it in an ordinary theater. I'm going to an IMAX theater to go and see that, because the technology you have it's the original tech that so you see it on the IMAX screens. The one where I go is meant for the IMAX cameras. They go hand in hand. They're designed for they complement each other because they were designed to. I'm going to stay on here another few more minutes to make it an hour, and then I'm going to leave. So if there was anyone here that wants to ask me one final question, I mean, if you're lucky to be here, then pop in that question now. But no, I'm happy to meet some filmmakers on here. I'm happy to, to speak to anyone. Not sure if this live stream today has been, what you might have wanted, but whoever's watching this, but I enjoyed it anyway. I'm grateful for the comments, from one of the couple of people here in the stream. I want to really, well, it would be nice to see some filmmakers here. So whoever you are, so yeah, man, you just can't like. For me, nothing can beat IMAX. And even if something does come out in the future where it tries to beat it, all right, I might acknowledge it and still think, you know what, this is pretty cool too. But I'll always have that special feeling in my heart with IMAX. Always, it's just the ultimate experience. That's what I tell everyone. Yeah, that's what I say. Or with Interstellar anyway, it was the ultimate experience. But even as a technology itself, like that film aside, it's the best. But 35mm film, like standard cinema film, the studio standard, which is what all films are mainly shot on film, unless it's digital. 35mm is still magical. I went and saw Batman v Superman and Zack Snyder's films. Saw them in an ordinary cinema, and even though he used some IMAX film cameras in that film, certain scenes were shot in IMAX, like the nightmare scene with Batman where he fights all the parademons. When he gets betrayed, he goes to get the kryptonite from those guys, and he opens the case up, and there's no kryptonite in there. It's just a green like lamp or bulb that's in there. That scene, that sequence of where he's fighting all the parademons, and that was shot on an IMAX film camera. But then the rest of the film, a few scenes in the film where he's fighting Superman was shot on IMAX, I believe. But essentially, the majority of the film, from what I know, was shot on 35mm film, and 35mm is magic still. It's still magic. It's film. So yes, I will go to an ordinary theater to see something on film, because you still get a great experience, depending on what it is that you're watching. But don't think I don't care about 35mm. I do. That is like studio standard. That's what any filmmaker would want to get to shoot on. That is like the normal. That is like the initial thing. IMAX is something which is more prestige, which will be given. You got to earn that later on in your career. You got to earn that, and hopefully you get it. But yeah, like, I think I've said enough on here. I'm gonna be going now. Couple more seconds, and I'm going to be leaving. But yeah, thank you to everyone that watched this. As I say, this channel is about film, my love of cinema, and my journey into filmmaking. And hopefully, like anyone who's got an interest in the filmmaking process, I'll be happy to talk to you sometime on a future live stream. So yeah, I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye. Bye.